What does it mean to be a true artist in Lebanon and the Middle East? Does a film have the capability to create opportunities for freedom of expression in Lebanon and the Arab society? How do we create opportunities for artists to thrive? Every filmmaker has a unique taste of creating a story, and every audience has a unique way of interpreting the film. Out Loud is one such example of a story that raised many meaningful questions throughout production. As artists, we sought to explore the status of human rights, gay rights, and freedom of speech in Lebanon and the Middle East. It means seeking a cultural change, a shift through art. We portrayed the desire of youth, overcoming fear and violence, and we were able to give a voice to a silent majority. We are trying to use Out Loud as a sample model, a voice from which the youth can speak out. Out Loud has the opportunity to be a vessel for social change in a society where change is held back by those who fear it. Nobody was accepting the idea of making a movie about gay characters or with a gay theme in it. In Lebanon, you don't come out unless it's forced upon you.
There were sermons in the mosque basically reciting the scriptures in the Quran where gays should be stoned to death.
هذا فساد كبير. هذا فساد كبير. يعني ربنا ما اكتفى في تعذيب قوم لوط بإعدامهم.
Asian traditions in Lebanon has always been holding back on any liberal ideas. Imagine yourself living through your life, your entire life, and not have a role model. Religion makes it very difficult because they believe in what's written blindly to a point where there is no negotiation. I've seen a lot of gay people who had to suffer and had to make lifetime decisions against their will. For the first time, someone is speaking out loud, and it's the feature film.
My name is Adrian Marr, and I'm the narrator of the documentary Out Loud, The Making Of. Out Loud is a modern tale of friendship and love in Lebanon today, a bittersweet reflection of the social struggles of the post-war generation who dream of different possible worlds. This is a story like no other, about a film made in the Middle East, which had to be completed in Los Angeles, after going through one of the most difficult ordeals a film can encounter. Out Loud is the first film ever made in the country of Lebanon to reveal so much about human rights in regards to freedom of speech, women's rights, and in particular, gay rights. The making of Out Loud went beyond anything we had predicted. From insults by protesters trying to disrupt the shooting, to stolen and damaged equipment, to crew members coerced into quitting, and physical injuries to the director and other crew members. The film's cast and crew had to go through an appalling ordeal to complete production. Military protection was requested and granted, but somehow obstacles continued to suddenly appear, making the movie set almost impossible to manage. Behind the camera, the true artists on the set found themselves caught between taking the time to solve problems and giving the proper time needed to invent and produce a major motion picture.
This movie talks about a new idea in this country. To have the courage to pose such an idea is in itself a debate that we had to take. We had to go for it.
فيلم يعني كسر القواعد والتقاليد اللي عندنا بلبنان نحن.
الجراءة هي أهم شيء يعني بالأوت لاود، هي الجرأة يلي طرحها، لأنه ما في فيلم هلا بيحكي بهيدي الجرأة يعني، وخصوصا على صعيد عربي.
لا، فيلم رح يعمل ضجة قوية بالناحية اللي عم يحكي عنها الفيلم، يعني رح يخلي العالم تحكي بالموضوع. ممكن يغير ممكن لا، هيك ما في عارف.
How the movie was made is really inspiring as much as the movie because it really took a lot of hard work.
Why is this movie so bold coming from a Lebanese production-based film?
Making Out Loud, of course, has been an incredible experience, but in a way, being able to express something that needs to be.
Of course, it's my dream to shoot a cinema film of this magnitude of creativity that's rare in the Middle East. And I challenged everyone to be part of this film.
Often about 2 or 3 films made every year in Lebanon. This year has been incredible. There has been many movies made, I think over 6 or 8.
For Zahli, it's very important because it's new and they didn't shoot anything especially for this place before.
People are very experienced in the video clip business and the news and all that stuff, but that's a whole different world other than the film industry, and the shooting and the managing of the whole process is really different. It did not affect it artistically, but everything took twice and 3 times the time it should take.
But the problem is there is no cinema industry in Lebanon, and I would say almost in the whole Arab region. For some reason, it's not supported. It's always been an independent effort to make a film, and that's how it's been and until today.
It's a first in Lebanese movies, that's a first, and it's never been done before, and it's nice to see that somebody dared to touch on this subject.
بيصيروا يدلوا انه ما بيقولوا مثلا انه انا مثلت، لا بيقولوا هذا الشيء، هذا هو يعني الشخصية اللي لعبتها انا هي.
And having to face all that is in itself a great battle. Some of these sacrifices may have to do with putting yourself in danger in the front line, having to face the prejudices.
When we take this step, we know it's a challenge. And I knew I was into a challenge.
I expect to break rules in such a society and awake people about something called freedom.
I mean, they've really put everything on the line to do this, and so I absolutely feel a responsibility to create something which matches what they've put into the film.
It would really make me want to do my best to really to give my best so the movie is done.
What kind of risk did these actors and actresses and production crew take to make this film? Is it obvious what they risked?
It's so accepted here, but knowing how tied to their faith and their traditions, like they are in Lebanon, it's like, are you crazy to make this film? And then to actually complete it is an accomplishment.
It was really brought it home to me at one point when I was listening to some of the outside, here's just outside this person's house, and every so often you heard pop, pop, pop. You'd hear gunshots. And it's like, this wasn't a particularly rare occurrence.
So what I like about Samer is his perseverance on that he wants to make the movie and to finish it, no matter what happens.
I can't predict what kind of abuse they may go through, but I believe that the success of the film will have a lot to do with how they are going to be able to manage their future lives. For the first time, they're going to see real characters, living real life, having fun, speaking the same way everyone else speaks, feeling the same emotions everyone shares. Feature film becomes alive because we put our heart into it. And no matter what we say, what matters most is what people are going to see on the screen, what they're going to hear and feel and sense.
Out Loud talks about a group of friends, and each one of them has his own problems that he faced since his childhood and still facing it until now.
You have 6 heroes. 4 of them are friends, best friends.
Everyone of them had his own story.
Jason, a child in a spirit with a man's body, whose parents died of a car crash, and he can only find his family, his friends.
أنا لعبت دور ألفيس هو بيكون تاجر مخدرات بيساعد بيو بالتهريب وبالتجارة.
The other is an artist, a gay artist who got kicked out of the house.
I was running away from my parents because they knew that I'm gay. And that was a problem for them, and they didn't accept that idea. That made me run away to this place.
He is with his friends, and he, for the first time, confesses to his friends that he's gay, and he has to leave. He has to leave the country so he can live his life.
بيي بده يذبحني.
ما بيعملها.
بعرفه كتير منيح. بيعملها.
بلعب كنت دور زياد بالفيلم، وأنا كنت البادي جارد اللي بحمي رفقاتي وما يروحوا.
رجع الجيش الصيني؟
لا، جيش سويسرا.
And then you have Louis, who have an injury where he lost the woman he always loved and he can't see any other woman.
ناتالي كانت صبية تعرف عليها من خلال الإنترنت وإجت تساعدون وتحل لهم مشاكلهم.
Natalie also had her own story about running away from the house for not wanting to get into an arranged marriage. They all meet in this house, in Jason's house.
أمرنا لألا وبعدين.
So they reunited in Jason's home to solve their problems and to defy the laws of the society and the taboo that they are living.
She ends up being a good friend, and she ends up playing a positive role in injecting positive energy in these characters, where they start thinking about dealing with their own personal problems.
يلي بيكون عن جد حد رفقاته بكل الأوقات انعطت بصورة رائعة. بنهاية الفيلم كانت كتير حلوة.
It's an amazing love story.
القصة تبع الفيلم مثل ما قلت قبل شوي انه قصة كتير غريبة، مش معمول منها من قبل.
هو بيحكي عن المجتمع اللبناني والشباب اللي عندهم كتير مشاكل، كل واحد عنده مشكلة أخذها من أهله ومن المجتمع.
The drug dealer doesn't want to be a drug dealer anymore. He wants to follow his heart and be a guitar player like he always loved. The other guy, Louis, he is so ready now. He's got to see the girl that left him 7 years ago, and he has to make peace with himself and move on. All that was happening with her being a nurturing friend.
And we'll see that Jason at the end will take a difficult decision. He will sacrifice for his friends and reach their goals in this life.
I told my characters that I wrote to just live free and not consider any borders, any walls, any laws. Just live like an innocent child, have fun, fall in love. Having those characters the freedom to follow their hearts, to follow their bliss. And they just had the best time of their lives. But danger somehow creeps up on them, and they end up being placed in a very vulnerable position.
Even though there's danger tracking them, they still find the time to just try to have fun and try to have their own type of life. Forget about the political system or religion, just whatever they wanted to do, that's what they did.
There is a celebration of everything in the film. You'd find celebration of love. You would find a celebration of in the way they dress, in the way they dance, in the way they play. You find celebration of food. beautiful dishes made out of the most traditional, tasty, loving meals that mothers make. And we've done it quite present in the dinner party that they have all together. I wanted to have those gay characters in the film be part of that whole ceremony, that whole celebration. Giving the chance to the young generation to see characters, to understand characters and realize that those gay characters are just human beings, just like everybody else.
It is the spirit behind it. Everybody, the actors, the director, the team, the whole team really worked very hard to produce this movie.
The opening scene of the film, you will find chaos of sounds coming from every direction. And I wanted to place that in the film because it really represents the chaos that's happening. The chaos, not necessarily just war and fighting, the chaos of different ideas that, in my opinion, has become a burden in Lebanon. Each one expressed different ideas. It's causing an unclear understanding of human rights and freedom of speech. A few scenes were very difficult to accomplish. We can take a camera and go up in a mountain where there's no one around and film two gay lovers dancing. But we chose to have two gay lovers dance at the front entrance of the city of Zahle. Just to say, okay, look, we can do that and it is okay. We didn't bomb the city like others do. We didn't kill anybody. We just danced because we are expressing love and no harm has been done to anyone. So why should it be wrong? There is a scene where the lead actress Natalie is sitting and two of the lead characters lay down on the ground with their heads on her lap, and suddenly by coincidence they both tell her I love you at the same time. And she felt something really incredible. That scene in itself, I think, is a great visual that would express pure love without having to associate it with taboos and sexual indecency or any of that a lot of people raise flags about.
What a nightmare.
There is nothing indecent about expressing love. Okay, you don't agree with exposing sexual contents. Well, we don't have that in the film, even though I believe it's perfectly okay. Why should it be okay with the Western films to enter Lebanon and have sexual contacts and everybody's okay about it? But if there are Lebanese doing it, then it's wrong. That in itself is double standards, and that should not be happening.
أفضل مشهد هو لما لبست ثوب العروس الفستان، وكان أجمل دور بالنسبة لي، لأنه كان بيجمع البساطة وجمع قصص كتير بكرة بتشوفوها بالفيلم.
It was incredible. They're all having fun, they're all dancing, they're all teasing each other and competing to dance with the bride. The beautiful magical moment that was happening. And then a group of Zaffi. Zaffi is a band that dances during weddings. People usually rent them out and they come and they dance during the wedding and they celebrate with the bride and the groom and they wear certain costumes and all that. And so they happen to be passing by and they realize there is a wedding in there. And they felt kind of like hurt, like there is a wedding and we're not invited. So they intruded the wedding and they came in and they danced with the bride and the grooms. They had the best time. And then the minute they realized that they can't tell who the groom is, they stopped dancing and they asked the question, who is the groom? And they were also happy, they didn't care. So everyone, including the gay characters, raised their voices and said, we are the grooms. And that in itself sets off a negative reaction and made the whole Zaffi retreat and run away. Without the laws and the rules that restrict someone from feeling something, everything was working out fine in the wedding party. But the minute you brought in a certain law that says that's not okay legally, then it became something awkward and they had to separate. Well, let's imagine that law did not exist. Then the party would have went on and everybody would become best friends with the Zaffi members and all that. See, that's where you see sometimes traditions and laws and rules often take away from honest human contacts and relationships. When I was writing the script, I didn't plan on a specific subject to tackle. I wrote the story and I wrote what I believed in. Somehow when an honest artist write something or draw a picture or make a movie about something that he believes on, funny thing, it kind of ends up being a mess for others who want to keep everything the same. That's why art is not encouraged in very conservative societies.
إذا انعرف إنه هذا الشخص جاي العالم ما راح يتقبلوه، العالم راح يحاولوا قد ما فيهم يبعدوا عنه.
Everything is still hidden until now.
As for the freedom of speech, you can't really say all that you want. Sometimes it's better to keep the things you believe in just for yourself.
ما في حرية بالشرق الأوسط.
In the Middle East, they've gotten so used to the idea that they just have to survive the war, survive the hunger, survive the abuse and the crude politics.
Islam is fierce in its condemnation of homosexuality. In at least 5 Islamic countries, the punishment for being gay is death. In the 21st century, people are tortured, flogged and beheaded for consensual gay activity.
Religion has been the greatest aggressive social structure against the gay community in the Middle East.
Islam considers homosexuality as sexual perversion. It's against the natural order, the natural pattern of life.
وهذا في القانون الوضعي، القانون الشرعي أيضا يدخل في هذا، يعني يؤيد هذا الجانب.
حرقين بالنار.
It is written in the Bible or in the Quran. If there's no way to negotiate, then you're doomed forever. And that's what's been happening. Homosexuality by law in Lebanon is a crime. The sentencing is between 3 to 1 year in prison. The moment you are exposed or revealed that you are homosexual and proven publicly, the trial is a matter of just a procedure that takes place and you end up in jail. Anything that proves that one is homosexual is evidence enough. You don't have to be caught having sex. Kissing can be one evidence. I believe that most Middle Eastern cultures, on the outside, yes, everything is great, but come to personal relationship, there's so much tension, and that's what's causing so much conflicts.
طريقة تفكيرهم خلص هيدي هي طريقة تفكيرهم، ما عادش نقدر نحن نغيرها أو نلعب فيها لطريقة تفكيرهم، قديش بدك توصلهم المساجات ما بيتغير، بس انه اكيد الشباب طريق.
You have this huge gap that the young generation has. The Lebanese society can't really keep up with those changes. That's the problem. The battle is quite fierce.
You have now a young generation that is so affected with the Western culture, especially through the internet, learning so much about the world. And it's becoming kind of serious problems for ancient traditions to stay alive.
It really does make you appreciate, really take it for granted. Here in the United States, we have these freedoms, they're just built in. The freedom of speech, to express things artistically, to take on a subject like this and run with it.
I believe that all relationships are natural if they don't harm anybody. I try not to judge relationships. Let them be what they are.
بيوصلوا للطريقة إنه انتحارية. إذا بيقولوا بيكون أنت مجنون. You are in need of psychology.
I have gay friends. I do respect them and they do respect me. We can't just ignore them.
I don't have any problem with them. They have their own rights of living as we do.
بحترمهم وحياتهم حرين فيها يعني.
جاي شخص مثلنا مثله اوكي ميوله الجنسيه غير ميوله الجنسيه تبعه غير تبعنا بس انه لازم نحترمه ومثله مثل حيالله شخص.
The idea here is taking the best of the past and moving forward with a new outlook to how the world now is evolving. And to speak seriously about this subject, you really have to address it publicly. I mean, when it's not spoken, not talked about, that's about the worst. It goes through stages. We're not even starting the first stage, so we're way beyond.
They need time to construct their bases and to accept such idea that they are strange from.
Maybe it is time for us to live instead of surviving. And to live is to be whoever you are.
What is the progress of gay rights in the Middle East and around the world been over the last 20 years?
It seems to me that the Middle East is characterized as many patriarchal religious countries are, and that being that there is an idea that men have a supreme role, women are subordinate in the culture, and that the fate of gays and lesbians are usually tied to the fate of women in these particular cultures. Specifically, the way that that gets done is that in the case of women are often held in private situations. They're not allowed in public contexts freely. Women are also denied access to the same kinds of power levels and earning abilities that men are in those societies. And it's also often inscribed on the bodies of women that because of menses or because of childbirth, that women are in fact considered to be polluting in some particular way. And this is a common theory in many cultures that are patriarchal. America has pockets where we're really progressing very rapidly and pockets where we've actually regressed in the past few years. The role of gay and lesbian programming in the United States has been two-pronged. On the one side, I think that we've become inured to the situation of our own oppression. Some of the young people in the United States have begun to believe that because we had Will and Grace on television, that the struggle is all over and that we can just all go home and everything will be fine. Nothing could be further from the truth. There are many, many things. And I think that the movement that you've seen in recent times for Proposition 8 here in California, which was the ability of gays and lesbians to get married, I think that that actually showed young people for the first time that they weren't going to get the same equality that they thought they were guaranteed by something like a television show that was going to show them equality.
Having a legal recognition is really important.
It's great that there are these gay and lesbian characters on television because they provide hope to people who are isolated, that don't have access to any other role models. It's a really wonderful thing to have somebody who stands up in public and speaks for gay and lesbian rights, even if it's a character on a television show. The idea that there is a natural form of sexuality is completely absurd because we as human beings create what's natural in our own minds. So whatever it is that we want to be natural, we make natural by the way that we reason it through our own brains. The idea that really sort of resonates with me is the concept that if one of us is oppressed, then all of us are oppressed. And that's paraphrasing Martin Luther King, but I think that it's actually an extremely powerful idea that we should all have the right to live our lives, which we only have one of, to the best ability that we can. Everybody from the time of their infancy should be able to be who they want to be, how they want to be that person. As long as it's not harming anyone else, then we should be allowed free rein to live our lives and to speak publicly about the way that we feel. It's like flowers or plants that don't get light. I mean, if you can't have an open environment where light sheds on everything, then you're really killing everything. It isn't possible to live a really full and complete life if you don't have access to free speech and to human rights. And human rights include such a range of things. We need to always fight for those. This is a constant struggle for all of us. And it's not only for gay and lesbian people, it's for everybody in the world.
What kind of harassment do gay artists face in the United States?
Well, the censorship and harassment that our gay artists face here in the United States, it ranges. There are artists that are definitely bullied. In each of the realm of LGBT, there's discrimination, there's bullying, there's harassment, there's blatant homophobia. I think the harassment is for being true to themselves, right? So as an artist, you are being true to yourself, and that incorporates all of who you are. That incorporates your sexuality, your gender identity, how you express your gender. So for a lot of our artists here, it's stepping outside of the box, outside of the social norms within America. If you are a male artist and you have female characteristics, or you're feminine, or your art is seen as feminine, then you're not fitting in sort of the box of masculinity here within the States. You get harassed or you get penalized for not fitting into what the social norms here in the States are. Gay artistic expression definitely is growing here in the United States within the past 20 years.
What do you want to share with us now about your sexuality?
That I am gay, and I'm very comfortable with it. I have been for a long time.
And you're seeing that media and in film and in television. You're seeing more characters of gay or lesbian or bi or transgender individuals in the media. So you're seeing more characters in television shows. You're seeing more gay characters in movies. And you're seeing it also with television shows and movies that are geared for younger viewers. Before, all you used to see was just gay and lesbian characters either dying of AIDS or living a miserable life and not really having any sort of happiness. But now you're seeing that there are characters in film and in television that are happy being gay, have a partner, have a loved one, some of them even have a family, so have a child, and are living, you know, the American dream. Times are changing here in the United States. People are becoming more accepting of gay and lesbian individuals, and I think that with that acceptance, they're seeing that being gay or lesbian is not a choice, that it's something that people are born with. And I think that that has changed because you're seeing more gay and lesbian people come out to their friends, come out to their family members. In terms of the Middle East, I think that there still is a lot of hardship for them to come out as gay or lesbian. They have a strong religious background that tells them that being gay or lesbian is wrong and that they will be condemned or they will go to hell. It's very hard for them to come out and be true to themselves.
My name's Adel X. I was born in Steamboat, Colorado. My father is Palestinian. I moved to the Middle East when I was 13 or 14 years old, 2002, so literally right after 9/11. Started going to an English-Arabic school. It was different. Expression-wise, I always felt like I could say what I wanted here compared to over there. I always felt censored. Just in like certain ways, like with talking with family, just not talking about certain things. My family is kind of that traditional family where traditional Middle Eastern Islamic values are set, or very like set into stone. I wouldn't say all my family. My mom and my dad are great. They're not as traditional as a lot of my aunts and uncles and cousins. I really couldn't talk about issues like that with a lot of my family. The boyfriends I'd have would have to hide their secret, and it wasn't a real relationship if you think about it that way. I knew that I couldn't tell them that I was gay because I felt that I was scared that they would think it was negative. And I finally started telling some of my friends, and it made me a lot stronger until one of those friends went around and started telling other people, and I got extremely gay bashed on Facebook. I always felt very scared. The Arabic side of the family, a lot of them don't know, and I hope to God that they never know, because there are some of my family members that I know think very strongly of the subject that being gay is a sin. Brothers and sisters all know, not a change in our relationship whatsoever. We're actually closer now, that they actually know who I am, and I'm not hiding. I feel like I can talk to them more freely than before. The freedom of speech and the freedom in general you have here is so much more. Hopefully in the future things will change, and I'm ready for them to change.
I was raised in a very conservative Muslim household here in Southern California, and my parents are two of the most religious people I know. I knew that me coming out would definitely discredit them and all their work that they've done in forming an American Muslim identity here in LA. I also, knew very well what my parents' opinion on being gay was. When it started to become clear to me that I was gay, it never entered my mind that that is something I would share with my family or any other member of the local Muslim community. I spent years struggling with that identity. I spent years trying to change it, trying to pray to God and trying to, ask God to make me be more attracted to women than to men. I'm very grateful to have been raised in a Western civilization in which, while being gay is not necessarily loved and cherished, it's at least not a crime, and it's not something that where my life would be in danger. My parents accept me as being their son, and they love me, and there's no doubt about that, and they would do anything for me. Whether they accept the fact that I'm a gay man is not clear. The coming out was a few years ago, but it's not something we really discuss much. I am a Muslim American who lives out and proudly as a gay male.
It was never comfortable for us to shoot any scene, but the beauty of it all is that the actors were extremely committed. They worked with everything they've got.
Give me a sense of how much danger and how much disruption is going on during the production of this film in Lebanon.
During production, we had faced many problems. We were attacked, we were abused, we were threatened several times by fanatics. It made the job very, very difficult to accomplish. People passing by honking, screaming, yelling, cursing. The equipment was stolen. For a 4-hour shoot, we had to shoot for 2 days because somebody stole some props. We had an incident in front of Zahli.
صار يفوتوا جوات الكادر كتير العالم، وكمان في شخص عملنا مشكل وتهجم علينا، وكمان في البيوت اللي كنا عم نفوت عليها.
They made sure that we don't get to shoot shots or the scenes that we really wanted.
It was very difficult to concentrate on our roles when we see people shouting and people screaming all around us. And especially some people were criticizing us when we were dancing on the street. And that caused an altercation. And the police was obliged to expel these people from the scene.
We had the script approved by the government, of course with some sentences taken out. The government doesn't watch over your shoulder while you're filming. They only watch over the film before it's released because, the film doesn't have a voice unless it's released. I had all the permits, everything was done legally, but words come around and people end up finding out. So by halfway through the shooting, it started to get really, really difficult to continue.
It was very difficult. And 22 days and nights we don't sleep to finish the movie, because each day was passing that was big problems and more big problems.
Of course, because we have all the permits, there was no legal way to stop us. We had many other scenes where we were kicked out of the house for reasons. Of course, nobody would admit, well, we're kicking you out because you guys are luti or homosexuals, but they'd kick us out for other reasons that doesn't exist, which costed a lot of loss of time, loss of energy, and loss of financial resources.
كل بيت شيء يحكي منه انه ساعة يكون عم نعمل دعارة، ساعة عم بيحششوا، ساعة عم بيتعاطوا، وهذا فات بسيارته شفط وهذا.
At the end of the day, we got expelled, and at that moment, I told myself, "Oh my God, my dream is over."
We had to find a place that looks a little bit similar to that house because there's more scenes to film in that house. So it's really a crucial moment. Out of nowhere, some really good man whom I met not long before the production started, I gave him a call and told him about the situation, and he invited us to his house and we completed shooting at his house. People just appear and they see the struggle that we go through, and they invest without even asking for anything in return. And I think that's one of the major reasons why we were able to get this far. When we tried to get permission to screen the film when it's done in theaters, we had to submit a copy of the film. And that's where the government came on us with the idea that no, you have to take out this part and that part. And after give and take negotiations, they allowed the film with minimal cutting. The major scene that they cut out is really the wedding ceremony, because that's something that's okay, being gay and saying you're gay is something, but acting gay is something else. And they made me cut out the scene where the one who's performing the wedding is to take out the sentence that's been taken out from the Bible and from the Quran, which is in the name of the Father and the Holy Spirit, and another sentence from the Quran. They made me cut that out. And the reason in the permit being gay person is not allowed to be a priest, perform like a priest, or pray like a priest. At the same time, they made me cut out the scene where he holds the cross, stating that a gay person is not allowed to hold the cross.
اكيد لا، الافلام الاجنبيه مثلا خصوصا عم تفوت عنا على لبنان عم يكون في كثير اشياء فيها يعني عم توصل الاباحه الماكسيموم يعني، ونحن بالفيلم تبعنا ما كان في شيء اصلا اسمه شيء اباحي، فما لازم كانوا ابدا يشخطوا لنا من اي يحذفوا لنا من اي مشهد بقلب الفيلم.
There was a kiss in the film between the two gay lovers, lead actors, and it ended up not happening. And even if he did it, it would have been cut out too by censorship. If you kiss in front of the camera, that's in itself is an evidence and can be used against you. So nobody wanted to take that risk. My greatest hope that this film would reach the audience where people can see it and believe, or start to believe, that they can make more films, more bold, honest films that will initiate a dialogue among cultures. I believe that revelation is in the human mind. If we don't start initiating that urge in our mind to make a change, to make movies like Out Loud, nothing's gonna change. Everything will remain the same. And if everything remains the same, what are we here for? All that can be evolving through making beautiful art and explaining to people that it is okay to be whatever you want to be. Be free to express, be free to live the way you are as a human being.
Some films are should be made. Some people should sacrifice because you see others how they're giving their whole life for it.
If you sacrifice, everybody like artist, he sacrifice himself, because in Lebanon, we don't have rights.
For all the cast and crew that went ahead and worked on this project, sacrificed. That's basically saying, can we start a dialogue at least about certain things that need to be changed?
After all this difficulties we passed through, we made it. That made it the best for me.
عم نعملها سوا، كنا عم نعيش اشياء حلوه، وعن جد هيدي اجمل اكسبيرينس هيدي انا عملتها بحياتي. تعرفت على ناس جداد، فتنا بمشاكل بعضنا، 18 ساعه تصوير كل يوم، كنا اكثر واكثر عم نعرف بعضنا وعم نحل مشاكل بعضنا وهيك.
The atmosphere that we created between us as actors and director really were like one family. That's rare in this domain. We supported each other to carry on this work.
Look, an artist must feel loved. It's everything what you feel you do it.
The love those people for each other, wanting to be for each other, with each other and for each other, how they really crossed all boundaries and fought everything that's around them, all the traditions, everything, to really be with each other and to live with each other.
See it actually being completed feels good.
The least it could do is tell the new generation that if they want something to be done, they can do it. It could inspire them to dream, to really go for whatever they want to, because they can achieve it.
هل انتوا بس تعملوا اللي بدكم اياه اوكي بس المهم بالحركه تكون ما تكون والله مشيت فشخت عين ووقفت.
You know, good art makes people think and gets a reaction. And I think this does it. It's obvious it does it because it drew such a strong reaction even in the making of it.
Creating something, you know, against all odds, against all the outside pressures which they had to deal with. I think it's an inspiration to anybody who creates anything.
I think films like Out Loud's purpose are to really not only begin that conversation, but to let people know that there are other people like themselves.
Out Loud can give hope, can give inspiration to younger gay Muslims who live in these Middle Eastern countries and who feel like they don't have a voice, they don't really have the support to come out to their family and their community.
I think a film like Out Loud will encourage change because it will get people to talk. You know, it will get people to start talking about, you know, some of the struggles, some of the challenges, and some of the rewards of, you know, gay or lesbian, you know, Lebanese people, that what they have to go through.
A film like this just expresses what many gay and lesbians feel over in a country like Lebanon. I think it's important for people to see that gay and lesbians are normal people. We're not any different from anyone else who's not gay or lesbian.
If you believe in something, whether it's a movie or if it's not even a movie, if you believe in it, if you really believe in it, I think you should risk everything you've got to say whatever you want to say.
And as I always say, you know, be true to you, be true to yourself, and everything else will come in place.
It's a struggle. It's a terrible struggle. One of the most pivotal things that happened in the United States, I believe, is the idea of coming out. Each time you come out, you're liberating someone else. You're providing them with the role model. You're providing them with hope and the ability to come out.
Is it really only up to the gay people to make it okay that they are gay? Or the straight has to play a role in accepting the gay and maybe help fight to make their lives much easier to live?
Just do it again. You did it once. You survived it. Just do it again. And you keep doing it until it becomes second nature, till you're not even looking over your shoulder. That's how change happens.
Hoping I will come up with a new and greater work that will always break rules.
لازم كل العالم تدعم هالفلومة وخصوص الفلومة اللبنانية حتى يوصل المساج اللي بدهم يوصلوه، وإلا بتضل السينما بلبنان كتير تعبانة وكتير ضعيفة.
Out Loud is a story about freedom, friendship, and love. Freedom is out loud. There is no freedom if it's not announced, if it's not out loud.
الدروس تعلمتها من الفيلم انه واحد اذا حط براسه شيء يوصل له، مثل ما عم يصير معنا بالفيلم. عم بتواجهنا كثير مشاكل وواجهتنا وبعدنا مكفين ليخلص. نجح الفيلم كنا حننجح، واذا فشل كنا حنفشل يعني.
وتحدوا المجتمع بالفيلم، فحرام عن جد حرام هيك فيلم العالم كلها ما تحضره، حرام وبس.
I will never give up on making the movies that I love to make, the movies that I believe in. There is a place for an artist everywhere. It may be a difficult place to survive as an artist here in Lebanon, but that can be a reason to face a bigger challenge, to do more, to work harder so that our culture may again evolve. just to dare or to try to see humanity from a different perspective. Instead of focusing on the existing rules, use those rules as a foundation to start advancing our consciousness to where rules won't have to exist. That's when just will simply exist because we believe in it, not because we are forced to live by it. The best of art confronts all facets of truth, all that is sadness and love, all that we can feel with our humanity. We reveal the hate and destruction so that we can learn to give love and create.